One of the most common questions and concern I get from clients who are looking to work with me is, I'm sensitive to supplements. Can I work with you? If you are someone who is sensitive to supplements, you know that you cannot just dump any old supplement into your body and feel okay. It's likely led to dead ends with previous practitioners and protocols that you just couldn't finish. If you're new to the conversation on supplement sensitivity, you may be wondering, what is supplement sensitivity, Allison? Do I have it? On today's episode, I'm going to be talking about what supplement sensitivity is, the 3 causes of supplement sensitivity, and what you can do about each reason. If you have ever had any trouble finishing a protocol or taking supplements due to feeling worse when you took them, then this episode is for you. Hey friend, welcome to the Better Belly Podcast. If you're currently trying endless supplements, doctor visits, and diet changes to heal your mystery symptoms, you are in the right place. We're here to solve the real root causes behind your gut, hormone, skin, sleep, and brain concerns, literally anything and everything in your body. My name is Allison Jordan. I'm a functional medicine practitioner that has supported over 150 clients just like you to heal problems that no one has been able to fix. You don't need a perfect diet or a random supplement you found on Instagram to heal. You need a proven system that heals your whole body from the inside out. That's what I'm here to share with you, episode by episode. It's time to make health easy again. And just as a reminder, this information is not meant to diagnose, manage, or treat disease. Always consult with your own health practitioner before you make any changes to your health. All right, guys. So before we jump into the juicy meat of today's episode, which is going to be talking about the 3 reasons people actually have supplement sensitivity, I do want to just cover for those of you who may be new to the conversation, or maybe you're starting to explore the idea of maybe I'm sensitive to supplements, because this description of being sensitive to supplements is not a diagnosis. It's just describing a personal experience that a not small number of people have, where they try to take a supplement and it could be something that feels really basic to them. It could be a B6 vitamin or complex. It could be vitamin C, and they have a really intense reaction. But usually it's not one supplement. By the time you feel that you're sensitive to supplements, you've tried a variety of kinds, and it's kept you from completing protocols, and sometimes will leave practitioners wondering they don't really know what to do with you. And so you were trying to find somebody who can help you get through your supplement sensitivity or work around it or whatever's going on. So when I first heard about supplement sensitivity, for whatever reason, I was like, do I possibly have it and I wouldn't know it? There are times where people who do not have supplement sensitivity to the degree that we're talking about will have a bad reaction to a supplement. And that's typically going to be for the reason of what we call detox and die-off, meaning that basically you open the floodgates to some toxin because of a supplement that you took. Or you actually cause more toxins to be released because, say, you're fighting a pathogen, and pathogens will actually squirt out juices to make you feel worse, to disincentivize you from don't take that supplement again, it's killing me. You will actually feel worse, and you'll go back to your practitioner and say, I had a really bad reaction to the supplement, and am I allergic to it? Should I stop taking it? And the most common reason for most people is you are having a detox or die-off reaction, meaning you do want to keep taking this supplement. And if you take it at a lower dose, a minimum dose, where the die-off is not so terrible, usually after a couple days, at max a week, your symptoms of the negative symptoms you were getting will disappear. So I've had clients have detox and die-off reactions that look like nightmares or eczema, more acne on their face, a really painful period the next time that they menstruate, a lot more bloating, but then it'll go away and they'll feel way better after that initial hump. With supplement sensitivity, it's harder to get over that initial hump, and that's where you're having these problems with more supplements. That is the conversation we are trying to have today. I would say I would not consider myself sensitive to supplements, but I have had lots of clients who are. So let's have the conversation on what are the 3 main reasons that I'm seeing clients have sensitivity to supplements, and what can you actually do to work around it, work through it, improve it, etc. The first main reason for having supplement sensitivity is closed detox pathways. So in your body, your body has either tunnels or road you got like highways that help things that are inside your body get out. You want good things, nutrients to come into the body, and that's going to be sugar for your cells. It's going to be vitamins and minerals for enzymatic reactions. That's everything that you eat, that you breathe, that your skin is absorbing. You want good things to come in to fuel you. And then even let's say in some like perfect world where you're not getting any toxin exposure, your body's going to create toxins through what we call metabolic waste. So it's just normal cellular debris that's being created that we then want to poop out, pee out, sweat out, breathe out. But if your detox pathways are closed, even if you have a normal toxin load, you're gonna struggle to detox. And this can then result in, if you take a supplement, that supplement's trying to stir up the pathway to get, say, like, let's imagine a highway. You're trying to get more cars to the highway to get more toxins out. But if the highway is just straight up closed, or it should be 5 lanes, but there's construction going on and it's only 1 lane, you're going to be majorly backed up. The toxins will get reabsorbed, and it's the reabsorption and the actual activation of the toxins being mobilized in your circulation that's what's making you feel gross. So let's talk about what are some of the detox pathways in the body. We've got liver, and liver is probably the most common detox pathway that is congested in people. It's the central hub of toxins. It is the last place things often go before you're pooping things out, and then the kidneys are the last place something goes before you pee it out. And if you're not pooping and peeing it out, then you're having to sweat it out of your skin. And so when the liver and then subsequently the kidney are not working optimally, that's when you're going to get skin conditions, because the skin's having to do the job that the liver is not. So it comes back to the liver. If your liver's congested, you're going to have low bile production. Bile, not only is it used to digest and maintain a healthy normal microbiome, so you're not getting things like SIBO, which is intestinal bacterial overgrowth, or candida. But bile also helps chelate heavy metals and remove toxins like mycotoxins, which are mold toxins out of the body. The liver is responsible for creating glutathione, which is this master detox molecule in the body. And if the liver is congested, meaning, again, it's not a diagnostic term, but it's a descriptive term to say liver's working less optimally than it should be, you're gonna result in low glutathione levels, so you're not detoxing with just normal production levels that you should have. The liver is related to regulating estrogen levels. If your liver's congested, you're more likely to have elevated estrogen, PMS, painful breasts during your period, irritability, mood swings, a lot of the problems that are correlated with estrogen. And the liver is also related to poop, because bile and healthy bile production and flow is part of what preps the bowel to be able to have a bowel movement. And so if all of that isn't working in the liver, interestingly enough, you're going to end up not pooping. It's not the only factor involved in constipation. Otherwise, my job would be a lot easier as the constipation queen. But it is a key factor. And so it's one of the additional things that, interestingly enough, we always think, well, pooping's a detox. If I'm not pooping, everything's messed up. Well, actually, if you're not pooping, it's a sign of other things being messed up. You can't, other than doing an enema, if your body's not pooping, it's actually telling you other problems are wrong, and you don't want to start with the pooping necessarily. You want to start with what's causing you to be constipated. And that's what we do in the Better Belly Blueprint, probably better than anyone else that I know. But we also help with all these other things related to hormones and skin problems, because they all get addressed in our process in the Better Belly Blueprint. Other examples of closed detox pathways, though, are going to be things like an inability to sweat or difficulty to sweat. So if you're not prone to sweat easily, say you don't sweat much when you work out, or if you go in a sauna, it just takes you a long time, or you never really get to that point. It can be a combination of causes, but not sweating really is a sign that your body is struggling with that detox pathway. And so there's a series of steps that you want to take to help restart that pathway. And if you don't take those and then you take supplements that are going to try to push toxins through the liver's not functioning, and then you can't sweat it out, your body's going to feel really crappy. That's usually when it gets pushed to the brain. You're going to get brain fog, you're going to get irritability, you're going to get anxiety, you're going to get nightmares, insomnia, heart palpitations. All those things are going to get pushed to other places because your skin and your liver aren't dealing with it. Other things that can be included in closed detox pathways are going to be nutrient deficiencies, primarily because nutrients, not only do they just simply give us the energy we need to run, but they're cofactors in literally the enzymatic reactions that help us to detox. So glutathione to function needs a variety of B vitamins. If you're deficient in B vitamins, glutathione can't function correctly. To detox through the Krebs cycle, you need vitamin C and you need a whole bunch of different vitamins and minerals. And nutrient deficiencies don't just come from you eat a crappy diet. Most of my clients, I'd say 99% of my clients, are already eating salads and eating fresh organic veggies. It might not be perfect, but they're trying to essentially eat clean and they still don't get energy. And the reason you can have nutrient deficiencies even with a very good diet is things like low stomach acid, low bile production, go back to that liver. The food you're eating is low in vitamins and minerals, which is a very big problem, at least in America. And then what I'd call non-specific supplementation, meaning you're taking multivitamins, you're taking vitamin complexes, you're taking things that seem like they should be healthy, but they're not specific to your specific deficiencies. And so you're pushing a bunch of stuff you don't need, ignoring what you do, and then you're getting all these supplement sensitivity reactions because you're not actually getting what you need. You're just generally being healthy, but not specific enough for you. So these are not everything that causes closed detox pathways, but it's one of the reasons that in my methodology, the Gut Healer System, which is basically, if you've heard of the Better Belly Method on previous podcast episodes, that is my Better Belly Method 2.0. We are calling the Gut Healer System. In this system, the very first thing we do for everybody is multiple layers of steps to open your detox pathways. We're helping shake up the liver so the liver can function well. We're helping restore your body's ability to sweat, which is not just about like go exercise really hard or go be in a sauna for a bajillion years. That's not what you need. You actually need sodium. You need time to heal the adrenal glands. We have a variety of ways we're working on the adrenal glands because the adrenal glands have layers of healing that you need to take them through, kind of more detailed than what I can get in this episode. But we're working at figuring out what are your specific nutrient deficiencies through specific lab testing we're doing. The HTMA test is one key one. We're looking at sodium, potassium, calcium, magnesium, because blood work is not good for those minerals. Your body works really hard for the blood work of sodium, potassium, calcium, magnesium, zinc, copper to all look very normal, but it doesn't mean you have good cellular levels of those things. And hair samples are actually very great, tattletales for what is actually going on inside the body. They will be a little bit more honest than blood work. And so not that blood works means nothing, but you might be like, well, my sodium, potassium, calcium, and magnesium are fine in my blood work. Can't I just use blood work? No, you want a hair sample. You want something that you basically want a test that's more honest, that is going to show you the bigger picture. And so we're doing testing like the HTMA, which is a hair sample test, and the organic acids test, which is a urine test, to look at B vitamins, to look at neurotransmitter status. All of that is giving us information on what might you possibly be missing and how do we support you. Are you assimilating fats? Are you missing L-carnitine from your body? Are you missing CoQ10? If you're not, don't take it. And we save you lots of money knowing also what not to take. And we help your body stop being so sensitive by just opening up the doors so that when you're dusting your house with spring cleaning, the dust goes out the windows and doesn't just puff up in a cloud in front of your face, which is kind of what's happening with supplement sensitivity. So the solution in this area is going to be open the liver. You want to use different detox pathways. So if your skin's really struggling, you want to work on something that is working. Maybe it's pooping, maybe it's peeing, maybe it's I said that if you're not sweating, we want to focus on pooping, peeing, anything, breathing, exhaling. Those things are going to be helping you more. If you're having a hard time pooping, let's focus on sweating and alternating those things, getting bitters into your body so you can produce bile, looking at how can we move your lymph if you are exercise sensitive or if you can't do a sauna. All those things are going to help open those detox pathways so that your body can actually handle it when you take a supplement. So that is the reason number one I'm seeing people be sensitive to supplements. And this is super reversible. I totally have clients who've been sensitive to supplements for years and they leave the program being able to take pretty much whatever they want. That's always an amazing feeling. Reason number two that you are sensitive to supplements is going to be toxins overload. When a client comes in and they are having supplement sensitivity, they can have just the first one, like closed detox pathway, or sometimes they're going to have just the second one, like their detox pathways are open, but they have so much toxin overload. It's just like they have 5 lanes available on their highway for cars to go down, but they still have too many cars on the lanes. And then you can have both, where you have a closed detox pathway and a toxin overload, which is just really gnarly situation. So types of toxins we're thinking about vary widely, but we're thinking about estrogen, which could be like your body's natural ability to make estrogen. But say you have beta-glucuronidase in your body from a microbiome imbalance, that beta-glucuronidase is going to cause estrogen to recirculate. But let's say you add on xenoestrogens. So we're thinking any type of birth control, IUDs, even if it's copper IUD, copper is pro-estrogenic, meaning it's forcing the estrogen to hang around. And that's why copper IUDs are actually functional, even though they're not hormonal. They are affecting your hormones. We're also thinking about xenoestrogens that are like parabens and phthalates, which are going to be in scented products, in plastics. And when I say scented products, I mean candles, lotions, perfumes, anything that has a synthetic chemical. It says, if it doesn't say an essential oil like thyme or whatever it is, then it's pretty much guaranteed to be synthetic because they are hiding what their chemical is behind it. And they can just say natural scent, natural flavors, natural. That's, I don't know, the word natural is not regulated by the FDA. So anybody can say it. It doesn't mean anything. There's no meaning behind it. It just sounds good. So that's why they can get away with it sounding better than it actually is. But estrogens, just a lot of them floating around in the body can cause excess toxicity, pathogens that are squirting out juices to keep you weak, to keep you basically sick, right? Pathogens are wanting to have a nice home. They don't want to kill you because they like that you're alive and you can be a host to them, but they also don't want you having a healthy immune system that could boot them out. So they're trying to make you sick and make you feel crappy. Heavy metals that you might be being exposed to in paint and in breathing, in the water. Tap water is a huge problem that multiple of my clients have had. And that's always sad for them because they think my water looks clean, my water tastes clean. I have a water filter in my house at my sink, a water filter pitcher. And as soon as we go and look at their HTMA results and we see, oh my gosh, you have heavy metals. It's uranium, it's arsenic, it's mercury. And then we go look at their water and we look at their water filter and we say, does that filter uranium? No, actually it doesn't. And so a lot of water filters are over-promising and under-delivering where it sounds amazing, but it actually isn't filtering that many products or particles, specific heavy metals, specific plastics, etc. And so it's getting into the body. So if you're trying to address the toxin overload, first off, you want to know what are my specific toxins that I'm dealing with. And you have to do that through testing. You can't guess. You can't look at your symptoms and know for sure. So in our program, we have 5 key tests we're relying on where we're looking at top pathogens like mold, candida, H. pylori. We're looking, not just those, C. diff. We're looking at heavy metals. We're looking at mineral deficiencies. We're looking at hormone levels, especially if you have hormone symptoms, whether you're, premenopause, perimenopause. If you're having any symptoms that are like my symptoms get worse around my cycle, I have irregular cycles, I have no cycles. If you're a man and you're struggling building muscle, you're dealing with depression, you have any sexual dysfunction, those can be all signs of testosterone imbalance. And so we're looking at if you have those hormonal symptoms, you want to do a test to actually look at your hormones, a better than blood work test. Blood work for hormones is not as in depth as you need it to be to understand where are you harboring and hoarding and pooling those toxins potentially of excess hormones, if that's a problem. So we have 5 key tests. Dutch test is for hormones. GI map is a stool test for mostly for pathogens, but also digestive quality. Food sensitivity test. Food sensitivities are a toxin. We use a Zoomer test by Vibrant Wellness, the HTMA for heavy metals and minerals, and the organic acids test, which is a urine-based test for mold, neurotransmitter balance, vitamin deficiencies, oxalate load, all sorts of toxins. So you really want your mind open to toxins that you maybe have never considered before. Once you find your toxins, your specific toxins, you, the person who's sensitive to supplements, the first thing you can do, you don't even need to take supplements because we already know that might be a difficult problem, is you can say, how can I reduce exposure? So if it is a heavy metal, you want to say, is there mercury amalgams in my mouth that I really, really need to deal with now? Is it a water filtration problem? Is it a mold toxicity problem? If you are living in a moldy environment, no one wants to believe that, but the testing will show that there's mold in your body, and we can do testing to say, is it in your current house where you live? Is it in your current workplace, or is it a previous exposure? But if it's a current exposure, you're breathing it in every night and you're overloading your body with toxins. If you get rid of the overload, you get rid of the overwhelm when your body tries to detox every time you take a supplement. That can help immensely. So we're looking at, before we even put a pill in your body, can we get exposure down and make your body less overwhelmed? The other thing when it comes to toxin overload, say you deal with, you've reduced exposure by filtering your water, by getting rid of the birth control pill that is adding excess hormones to your body, by getting rid of non-organic foods. Usually we don't have to be like, do every single non-toxic technique under the sun because that's overwhelming. We can get really pointed with the 1, 2, 3 things that are really adding to that we can reduce exposure on. Once you focus on that, then as you add in supplements, we do what I call go low and go slow. You start supplements at super low doses. And for my sensitive folks, I always like to say, like, sensitivity is not bad. Like, it's actually, sensitivity is good typically. If you have a tightrope walker who is able to sense if she's going to fall off the tightrope and therefore know how to balance herself so she doesn't, that's not weak. That's actually a superpower. People pay to watch that. And so if you're sensitive, it means you have a really fine sense of what's right and what's wrong in your body, and you're able to walk that tightrope. And what you really want is a practitioner who can help teach you how to walk that tightrope. Again, in our current society, we typically teach just push through it, push through the pain. And there are times where that is appropriate in a protocol to say, this is a detox, this is a die-off, let's wait 3 to 7 days, see if it goes away, because that can totally happen. And we want that pathogen or toxin out of the body. And we might temporarily get like a little, what we call healing crisis, where you're healing, but you actually feel worse. But other than pushing through that, generally, slow and low is super healthy. You can use smaller doses, therefore, than what you've been given before for longer periods of time. I just have clients who sometimes can get completely healed on a half dose of what almost everybody else is taking. And they never get to a max dose, but they feel good. The whole thing is, do you feel good? You can use simpler doses. So I love to use combination supplements like Biocidin, which has like 10 different herbs in it. But sometimes just switching to just an oregano oil supplement to help deal with the pathogen simplifies what's going on in the body, and there's a much better response for this. This is a pretty typical approach for working with children, for example, who have simpler bodies, smaller bodies, and you don't want to do something super complex with them. So it's not bad to go simpler. The last thing that you can do, and that I've done with clients who are super sensitive, is use homeopathy, which is like typically the gentlest of stuff. And some people will knock off homeopathy because they felt like it didn't work. But my sensitive clients are like, this works and it doesn't feel like it's killing me. I actually feel better doing it. So homeopathy can often be like a coming in the back door option instead of knocking down and breaking down the front door. So the last few things I'll say on the toxin overload section that I see practitioners making mistakes with clients, or if you're like DIYing your health that clients are making, is number one, you don't want to start your protocols with fighting a pathogen. There's a lot of stuff online with like, here's my parasite protocol, buy it from me and just dive in. Parasite protocols inherently are typically binding and then killing. It's very intense. Instead, especially if you're sensitive to supplements, but honestly, even if you're not, you're going to get a better result when you get to the kill phase of protocols if you start with rebuilding vitality. In my gut healer system, the first 4 protocols that people go through are all about rebuilding vitality, opening detox pathways, restoring nutrient status based on your lab testing. So it's not just like everybody's doing the same thing. It's unique to your footprint of what your body needs. And it's only by the 5th protocol that you might be killing any pathogens at all. And it sets you up for a much better response, both the pathogen being successfully killed and the reduction of die-off, even for someone who's not sensitive to supplements, and the reduction of sensitivity for someone who is sensitive to supplements. So don't start with fighting pathogens. Always rebuild vitality first. Get rid of exposure to toxins. And then the other thing is don't start with a heavy metal detox. Again, heavy metal detoxes are kind of the rage. And I am so sad that this has happened. I have literally had clients come to me say, I worked with a functional medicine doc. They said I had mercury toxicity, so they started me on, for you guys, this is going to be somewhat advanced to say EDTA. Don't start with EDTA. Don't start with EDTA. It is extremely intense, stirring up the waters of pushing out heavy metals. And if you have not killed pathogens first, if you have not rebuilt vitality, opened the detox pathways, there's no way that this is going to make you feel better, because your body, you should only be pushing heavy metals out with EDTA once all the other problems are gone. And you can actually start to see the body starting to get rid of the heavy metals on their own, because it will go up on an HTMA test. The actual levels from when you start to 3 to 6 months later will possibly go up, which will show that the body's starting to excrete it on its own. And now the body is ready to work with you, rather than almost like pulling this donkey or mule that's like, no, don't make me do it. Don't make me detox the mercury. I'm not ready. So we're thinking about people who are not listening to the body. And again, you sensitive to supplements, folks, your body is screaming to be listened to. And it's just very loud. It's like, maybe some people's bodies are more timid, like, maybe don't do that. That's kind of not icky. That's kind of bad. And the sensitive to supplement folks, their bodies are like, shut the fuck up. Like, please stop. Stop, stop, stop. And you hear that yelling in your ear, and you're kind of afraid of taking supplements, but we can switch the fear to curiosity. What does my body actually need? How can I do this in a gentler way that's still effective? And what if gentler, even if I don't feel a gnarly reaction, what if gentler is actually effective? And that's a big fear I see around my people who are sensitive to supplements, is that when a supplement doesn't cause them a reaction, they're like, is it working? They're so used to supplements like being so gnarly on them. And so that's a mindset shift, that a supplement doesn't have to feel horrible to be working. And gentle is okay. It can be very functional and effective. All right, so the last thing that I see causing sensitivity to supplements is unsupported methylation. Unsupported methylation comes in a wide variety of flavors: grape, watermelon, strawberry, meaning that the type of methylation you might be struggling with can vary person to person. And so the best way to see what's going on is testing. The cool thing in a lot of our tests is that you'll be able to see one aspect of methylation in each of them. So the Dutch test that we do, it actually has a marker in there, 2 markers technically, that when you look at how well you're detoxing between these two, phase 2 of estrogen detox, you can get a vision for how well the COMT gene is functioning, or how well you're methylating. The other thing to keep in mind, and that this concept on methylation is something that Dr. Ben Lynch describes in his book, Dirty Genes, which I highly recommend. It's a great book. He goes over like the 6 or 7 most common gene mutations that are affecting people, and describes symptoms someone can have and how to support it. And but one of the big principal concepts of dirty genes that he has, aka a gene not functioning well, is you can have a gene that's not functioning well simply because of someone's genetics. And then you can have something not functioning well and the genetics are fine, but they are burdened by other problems or there's nutrient deficiencies and he says they're acting dirty. So there are clients that come to me and they're sensitive to supplements, and some of y'all have genetic problems, which you can support. It is not a life sentence. You can support it with certain dietary changes. Sometimes that's going to be going gluten-free or taking certain vitamins like B vitamins for the MTHFR gene mutation. It can be getting more sleep, eating more regularly, eating more protein. There's a lot of ways to support things like the MAOA gene, NOS3, which has to do with sulfur. So there's a lot, or not sulfur, nitric oxide. There's a lot of things that you can do. And interestingly enough, in the Gut Healer system, even if I don't say, and now if you have an MTHFR gene mutation, this is the module for you. It's actually built into the program that every single section protocol addresses different problems that MTHFR people come across and deal with, the MAOA people deal with, the COMT people deal with, which is that COMT gene enzyme, can affect estrogen detox, can affect a variety of things in the body. So when you get that methylation working, whether it's a genetically not working or it's toxin overload, so that toxin overload can actually create this third problem, interestingly enough. So they all these three problems kind of flirt with each other. The closed detox pathways that then cause toxins to build up, that then if you have additional excess exposure to toxins, that can create a methylation problem. Well, you just have to back yourself up out of that problem, and the sensitivity to supplements can reduce. Now, there are some clients that I've had who they have not reduced, even when they follow all these things. And all we do is just go really slowly. We work with the methylation pathways that work for them. One, I find like this is very common that if I have someone who cannot, or they're sensitive to supplements, that maybe they can't take a liver enzyme or like nutrients for the liver, like alpha lipoic acid, milk thistle, but they can do a coffee enema, or they can't do a coffee enema, but they can do a sauna. And so we're working with what are the ways that they detox that works for them. And the other thing that often surprises me about this, or surprises my clients who are sensitive to supplements, is that they're used to be like, okay, I'm going to do a sauna, I'm going to do 30 minutes. No, just do 5. Do 5 minutes. And they'll do 5 minutes and they'll feel a little icky with 5 minutes. And I'll say, just keep doing 5 minutes of your sauna until that little bit of icky goes away. And then it does. And then they'll go move up to 10 minutes. And it's a different amount of time for some people. After a week of sauna, once a day, 5 minutes, then they can graduate to 10 minutes. Sometimes it's just 3 sessions. Sometimes it's 2 weeks, but they're able to build up. And what you'll see is that sensitivity peels off. And again, usually someone who's that sensitive to a sauna, we're also thinking about, we have to find current sources of toxins that they can reduce, because that's going to be so key. And the hardest part about that reduction of environmental toxins is that we don't want to believe it's there. Or if you're trying to be healthy, you want to be like, but I eat organic. And I'm not saying you're not trying, but there's unfortunately just toxins that creep in. And if we're feeling defensive about it, it does make it harder to just be like, I want to be really objective and just get my water tested, my tap water, get my hair tested to see if I have heavy metals in the testing. Get my glutathione levels tested to see if I'm making enough glutathione on my own or if I'm depleted in that. Those are in the Dutch test and the organic acid test. So it's all built into the entire Gut Healer system, kind of invisibly, because we focus more on this is just the next step to take. It's not unique to like, if you don't need to know if you're MTHFR or not. You don't need to know if you have MAOA or not. It is built in, and based on your lab results, we can say if this marker's high, do this. If this marker's not high, don't do it. And that's subtly telling you, like, you don't need to do this thing, like take SAMe for the COMT, a slow COMT enzyme, because that part of your methylation is functioning just fine. You might not know that, but it's meant to make it super easy, super simple, so that you can ultimately do the things you need to do to heal without feeling you're getting these hypersensitivity reactions. Does that make sense? I hope that was helpful. I hope that gives you guys some framework, whether you're new to the even concept on sensitivity to supplements. Maybe you listen to that and you are not, but it's still, a lot of these concepts still apply to people who are not like super sensitive to supplements. They still apply to someone who's just average, normal Joe, gonna try and detox. If you have closed detox pathways, toxin overload, and methylation that's a little wonky, whether it's genetic or just because of the toxins in the body, then you need to support all three of these things. So if you want support in that, if you want to join the Gut Healer system and get that process to make healing super, super straightforward, you know exactly what labs you need based off of your symptoms. You get the labs sent straight to your home. You get your answers. You learn how to analyze them yourself in our Blueprint Group coaching program, or you can have me do it in the VIP Blueprint level. Then go to betterbellytherapies.com/training. And you will watch a video on exactly how the blueprint works, how you get your login, why it's working when nothing else has worked for you, which is where 99% of our clients are. They've got their constipation, their bloating, their headaches, their migraines, their eczema, their PMS, their perimenopause, hot flashes. Like, they've got all those problems: hair loss, weight gain, PCOS, endometriosis. If it exists, rheumatoid arthritis. If it exists, we've dealt with it. Redundant colon, megacolon, all these problems, if you're listening to this, we have worked with it. And the Gut Healer system is designed to take you through and help find those toxins and those barriers that are there that are causing your problems. So go to betterbellytherapies.com/training. Watch the video. If you don't have time to watch the video, scroll down. It's a very, very short web page that will summarize exactly what you get. There's a little FAQ that you can listen to, which are videos of me answering questions. You can ask a question in that FAQ area if I don't answer the question you have, and then join the Better Belly Blueprint with group coaching, or join our VIP program and have me do all the work for you, which is great if you feel like you just don't have a lot of time or you don't have a lot of mental bandwidth to focus on the trainings yourself. And I will do and build your entire process and what labs you need, etc., everything you need. All you have to do is show up to calls with me and we'll have a jolly time. So go to betterbellytherapies.com/training. Watch the video, learn about how to join the program, and I can't wait to see you healing and really feeling at home in your body, feeling that even if you're not the same as everybody else, you feel normal. You feel you can wake up with energy, you can poop in the morning, you can feel good at meals, before meals, during meals. You're not afraid of holiday times. You're not anxious about going out to eat somewhere. You feel good and confident in your body. If you're ready for that life, go to betterbellytherapies.com/training. Hey friend, I hope you loved this episode. If you've been a fan for a while or newly loving this podcast, can you do me a favor? Drop into Apple Podcasts and leave me a review. When you leave a review, you do so much. You help me know you're listening. You can tell me what you're loving so I know what to make more of. And you help others by boosting this podcast so other people like you can find the podcast too. I mean, it's a win-win-win, right? So if you want a way to pay it forward, just go to Apple Podcasts or click the link in my show notes and leave a rating and review. And if you want some more free stuff, just head over to my free Facebook group, betterbellytherapies.com/Facebook, and you can get access to all of my free support for you, including some Facebook group exclusive stuff like my podcast episode vault, where you can search the Better Belly podcast by topic and find exactly what you need to expedite your healing. I cannot wait to see you in there. Catch you guys next week.